Hello, this is Bill Bullard with R-CALF USA, the voice of the independent cattle producer in the United States of America. So here we are again. Fed cattle prices keep falling and are now down around $100. Yet consumers are still paying record prices for beef. This puts the share that producers receive from every dollar consumers spend on beef at a historical low of less than 35 cents. It's never been that low, ever. Nearly 2 decades ago, economist Clement Ward warned the cattle industry that concentration levels in the U.S. meatpacking industry were among the highest of any industry in the United States. He stated they were well above levels generally considered to elicit non-competitive behavior and result in adverse economic performance. Around the same time, economist John Connor addressed the non-competitive nature of captive supplies. Captive supplies are cattle committed to a packer long before slaughter under some kind of alternative marketing arrangement. These cattle are removed from the spot market and do not contribute to price discovery. But the functionality of a competitive market depends on robust competition and robust price discovery, which captive supply cattle undermine. John Connor wrote back then that these captive supplies have been shown to increase the instability of prices for cattle producers and hold down cattle prices. Now that was 2 decades ago, and ever since R-CALF USA has been fighting to restore the lost competition in our markets. In Congress, we tried to pass a ban on packer ownership and control of livestock. We tried to require packers to participate in the spot market by requiring them to purchase a certain percent of their daily needs in the price discovery market. And we tried to put a ban on the most damaging type of captive supplies, those unpriced contracts known as formula contracts. Each and every one of these needed reforms was defeated by the National Cattlemen's Beef Association and their beef packing partners. They argued they wanted the government out of agriculture and said these reforms would limit cattle producers' freedom to market cattle any way they saw fit. So here we are today, 2 decades later, with 20% fewer cattle producers and 75% fewer feedlots, because that's how many have exited our industry. And today there are cattle producers who are attempting to exercise their freedom to market cattle the way they want to, but the packers won't buy them. In May, led by Senator Charles Grassley, a bill was introduced in Congress to require the largest packers to participate in our industry's price discovery market by purchasing at least 50% of each of their plant's daily cattle needs from the spot market and to slaughter those cattle in 14 days. This bill will significantly reduce the packers' use of their price-depressing captive supply cattle. Both senators from Iowa, both senators from Montana, only one senator from South Dakota and Minnesota and Mississippi are sponsoring this bill. It is Senate Bill 3693. There are no senators from North Dakota, no senators from Nebraska, no senators from Wyoming, no senators from Colorado, and no senators from Kansas co-sponsoring this bill. You have to ask yourself, why is that? Why aren't all the cattle state senators fighting to pass this bill so independent cattle producers can choose to market the cattle the way they want to, including and in particular by choosing to sell their cattle in the spot market? Many producers today can't do that. They can't get timely access to the spot market. If they want to sell cattle when they are ready for slaughter, their choices are severely limited. They must enter a contract with a packer. That's not a freedom to choose how to market cattle. That's a broken market that is controlled by the highly concentrated meatpacking industry that has created market access risk for independent cattle producers. Now, the same opponents who defeated this effort before are lined up against to defeat this new bill. This is probably the best chance we've ever had to achieve a meaningful market reform. It's likely also our last chance, the last chance you may have of creating a competitive industry structure for yourselves, your children, and your children's children. But just as before, and because of the powerful lineup of deep-pocket opponents on the other side of this bill, we're destined to lose. Unless everyone musters all the support they can bear by picking up their phone and calling their member of the Senate and urging them to immediately support Senate Bill 3693. You need to ask everyone who supports the American rancher to make these calls. And don't take no for, or I don't know for an answer. Keep making those calls until your senators say, yes, I will co-sponsor and vote for Senate Bill 3693. Folks, we don't have much time. But thank you for helping to support the American rancher. If you'd like to learn more about what R-CALF USA is doing to help the American rancher and all of rural America, please go to our website at www.r-calfusa.com. Thank you and goodbye.